Good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope that you have had a great start to the day and that this will just add a little bit extra. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so close to the end of the year. I can't believe it. We're in October and I swear I'm still stuck in March. But thank you so much. It's so great to see the amount of you joining us, so many familiar names. And it's going to be such an amazing session today. We're excited to have Netcare with us. It's the first time they've been part of our program, and I'm excited to learn a little bit more. Just a couple of reminders. Please make sure that you stay on mute just to make sure that there's no background noise. And please remember that this is an interactive session. You are welcome to place any questions in the chat. We do have a dedicated Q&A session after the presentation that's going to take place. And then two reminders of two events that's coming up. We will share the links for you in the chat box. Firstly, we have our masterclass taking place tomorrow, part of the SMME clinic. It's 1 hour from 8:30 to 9:30 on Zoom. You're welcome to register for that today already to make the process a lot quicker. We'll share that in the chat. Then also in February, we have our final in-person supplier matchup taking place at River Sands in Midrand. And there is a link that you need to complete in order to participate. So it's quite we're about a bit finicky when it comes to the BEE affidavits. So you're welcome to submit yours, but we will return, communicate with you if there are any problems with specific areas on your affidavit, as it needs to be a valid affidavit. And there's quite a few pinpoints that can easily make it invalid. So we will communicate with you. So please be open to assisting us in rectifying that. Otherwise, we are very happy to have all of you here. We are super excited, and I'm happy to introduce you to Caroline Potgieter from Netcare. Caroline, if you are able to just perhaps put your camera on so that we can see your beautiful face. And hello, thank you for being
Hi,
here today.
thanks. I'm not sure if you can see me. There we go. There you can see my
Yes,
face. Morning,
we can
everybody.
see
I'm going to switch my
you.
camera off so we don't destroy your bandwidth. And also, I don't like seeing myself on camera. Good morning, everybody. And thank you for joining and thank you for taking the time and your interest in Netcare. So I'm just going to stop the video. Okay. We normally use Teams. So if I'm a little bit clunky this morning on my way around, I apologize. I've got a presentation. I'm going to just share my screen. If you can just pull in, perhaps let me know you can see my screen.
I will do so.
Is it visible?
It might just still be loading, but I can't see anything yet.
Let me go out of presentation mode and I'll come back and let's just see again.
Okay, something's happening now. Okay, we can see it. We just can't see. There we go. Perfect.
Is that better? Okay.
Much better. Thank you. The
As
floor is
Pauline
yours.
stated, please feel free to, I can't see hands or anything. I'm in presentation mode, so please feel free just to raise your question as you feel. I'm happy to do that. I'd like to be as interactive this morning as possible. So welcome to the Netcare session. This is our first for us as well. We're very excited about this initiative. So thank you, Pauline, for the opportunity. And just talks about what we're going to do. I'm just going to talk about who we are as Netcare. I'm going to introduce you specifically to the procurement indirect team and who we are in the Netcare space. I'm going to talk about our procurement processes. We use a platform called Zycus for registration of potential and our existing suppliers, and we manage, and I'll show you a bit of that platform and what the opportunities are you can see in that platform. And then I'm just going to touch on what is important to Netcare procurement at the end. So Netcare was founded in 1996, and for over 28 years, we've been saving lives and changing lives for the better. We're predominantly a hospital group. We're a healthcare provider. We've got 49 hospitals plus 2 public-private partnerships, and our divisions include Netcare Hospitals, Netcare Medicross, which Medicross talks to primary care, which is your general practitioners and dentists, Netcare Careso, which is our mental health and mental wellness division, Netcare 911, which is emergency services, Netcare Renal, Netcare Oncology, and Netcare Diagnostics. My next slide, just a little bit show our landscape and the complexity and the size thereof. We've got a national footprint. We have over 18,000 employees, 9,827 hospital beds, 87 Neki 911 sites, 11 day clinics, 8 cancer care clinics, 8 hematology, 75 renal, and 1,009 dialysis. So it's quite a big, vast landscape we have. I've just put this slide in here because something that's very important to Netcare and very important in our procurement space is our sustainability programs. So we are on our journey for sustainability, and as we engage with our suppliers, and we're all, I think as a country, we're starting out, we have some very specific targets, and Netcare has been on our sustainability journey for quite some time, and we've won several awards, so it's very important in our space. It's about the future, it's about longevity, and for everybody in this country. I've also put a slide in here with regards to our CSI initiative, which the one on the left talks to sustainability as well. So every time we have a drip that is used in our hospital, there is PVC. The drips are made of PVC. So we have entered into a program with Adcock Ingram Critical Care. It's called My Walk. And what we do is we recycle those PVC drips, and they actually used to make school shoes for children. We've had 200,000 pairs of school shoes donated to school children in underprivileged schools across the country. And that is in partnership, obviously, with other corporates who've then purchased the shoes and done the donations as well. We also, on the right-hand side, have a mental health initiative that we have done, in which counselling has been provided to more than 62,000 community members to date. So from a Netcare perspective, we try to be a responsible corporate citizen as well. Oh, sorry. There we go. The procurement team that is on the call with you this morning is the indirect and technical and IT teams. So I myself am the procurement manager for indirect commodities, and we have Kirsty Dudgeon, who's the commodity manager for indirect. We have Lulani Krokram-Christoph, who is our commodity manager on our technical space. Mona Smith is a procurement coordinator. Nompila Tabedi is a procurement assistant. Rejoice Raleli, another procurement assistant, and Siriletsa Sekulu, who is managing our IT consumables. You are welcome to reach out to any of these individuals, but the email address we're going to ask you to reach out to initially is using the procurement@netcare.co.za space. I'm going to take you through our online platform, which is where, if you're interested in Netcare as potentially a customer to yourselves, or you feel you would like to participate in one of the opportunities I'm going to show you in a moment or two, you're welcome to do that on the Zycus platform. That is where your evaluation will be done. Okay, so the Netcare procurement process, we start off with supplier evaluation. That's a centralized function managed by the procurement team. And as explained, we do that in our platform called Zycus. If we feel that we have an opportunity with yourselves and we would like to take you forward into our space for potentially eventually closing a contract with yourselves, we would take you through the registration process. Again, managed centrally, and that is done through our procurement team, our central payments division, we call them CPD, and our finance division. And when you are registered as a vendor, we issue you with a SAP vendor code. Okay, and it links back to the Zycus platform as well. Once we've done that and we are ready to enter into a contract and an SLA agreement with yourselves, potentially you might have products that you're offering to Netcare, where it's again a centralized function. It's done by the procurement team, and that is done across the Zycus and AutoCo platform. So the contract documentation and everything is concluded in Zycus. It's actually loaded in Zycus, and I'll show you in a moment or two. You would have access to your documentation with Zycus. So we were traditionally doing this all back and forth on emails, and since in this year, we've gone live with Zycus. It's been a big project for us and a big change in our world. And what that enables us to do is to interact with you with that sensitive documentation in a very, very secure space. Our orders are decentralized. So procurement is basically performing a sourcing function. We will then assist also with the management of the service level agreement with yourselves, and we will be your sort of central point. But the actual placing of orders is done in a decentralized, it's done by the hospitals or site specific, and that is done on a platform called AutoCo. If it would be applicable to yourselves, if you are offering a product and not a service, we would put you into the AutoCo environment potentially. It's again just an electronic space, gives you a dashboard, you can manage your orders. For both the Zycus and AutoCo platform, you do not need any special IT knowledge or platforms or anything like that. They're web-based. You would be able to access it only with a device that connects to the internet. Okay. And GRVs, when we're receiving goods from yourselves or we are processing the invoices for payment, we would do it in the SAP environment. It's again decentralized. That receipting process is decentralized by the site or the hospital, but the payment process is done by our central payments division. It's a centralized function, and that is the payments processing is actually happening in our SAP environment. So our top 5 procurement categories is medical devices, medicines, that we talk to and we call the direct space, and then we go to cleaning services, catering services, and nursing agencies, and that is in the indirect world. So that falls into the team that you have here on with you today. Okay. To do the Zycus registration, so Zycus is our online solution, and we use it to manage our suppliers. You would see any opportunities with regards to sourcing events. So a request for information, a request for proposal, a request for quotation, or any kind of sourcing event is done in the Zycus platform. We manage risk assessments and supply scorecards in the Zycus platform, and we conclude, and any contracting that happens would be accessible to you between yourselves and Netcare in your dashboard and on the Zycus platform as well. So with Zycus registration, some of these platforms have fees. There are no fees to participate. As explained, there's no specific specialized IT requirements. You simply need a device and internet access. Okay. So how do you register in the Zycus platform to potentially become a Netcare provider? Okay, there's 2 ways to go about it. You can go to the Netcare website, and I've put the URL here because there's a nice page there which talks specifically to suppliers. And you can begin the evaluation process from our supplier page. You simply click on the begin evaluation process. Again, any point in time you get stuck or need assistance with your registration, procurement@netcare.co.za. It's managed by a team, not just an individual. So somebody will come back to you and assist you with your application should you need some assistance. Okay. You can do through the Netcare website, or you can go straight to this URL, and it will take you straight through to the platform, and there's just the page as you can see. So the very first time you register, you'll go to the right-hand side of the page and you will register as a new user. Okay, you use your email address as your username, and you will create a password. You'll confirm the password, and again, it just asks you a sum, just trying to make sure you're not a robot. The sum changes every time, and then you'll tick here to say, I accept terms and conditions. Where you see blue on the platform, if you click on there, in that instance, it will open up those terms and conditions. These terms and conditions here talk to the fair and proper use of the Zycus platform. So those are not Netcare's terms and conditions. They're terms and conditions for the proper use of the Zycus platform. You can read them and you can accept them, and you click the registration process. On the left-hand side, you would get the same page when you come back to log in. Once you've registered a profile and you want to come back or you want to edit something, once you've got your initial profile registered, you'd use the left-hand side of the page. Again, you've got your username and login, and you've got your password. It will then send you an OTP. Okay, so maybe just have a look in your spam and junk folder. Sometimes the first time it does go in there. It does come through quite quickly. So if in 5 minutes you haven't got it, you've got the page open, it looks like this page, resend the OTP. And then you can just, once you've got it, you enter your OTP and you click on the verify OTP page. It will take you through to a platform, and it will say create companies. You'll just click on there, and it will create open a page that looks like this. So very important, you have to complete every section. So the sections are on the left-hand side of the page. As you can see, each section has a red asterisk next to it. So throughout this platform, where you see a red asterisk, and you will see it sometimes on fields, if you can see here, you'll see in the company section, you've got the legal name. That is a compulsory or mandatory field. So the red asterisk indicates that there's information in each section which is mandatory required. And when you open that section, you click on each section to open it. The fields you are looking for are the ones with the red asterisks. Because this platform goes across our supplier base, you're going to get to, and we'll get to the procurement category in a moment, you're going to get some questions which might talk to being a diesel supplier. And you are not a diesel supplier, so you wouldn't have the specific license. You will notice in that section, there's no red asterisks. So you can simply scroll past. So anything that doesn't look relevant to your organization as you register yourselves, okay, and doesn't have a red asterisk, you can scroll past. If when it comes on Netcare's side and we start the verification process with you, okay, we identify something we would like to have you complete that information, we would then send it back to you through the platform, okay? So what happens as soon as you've registered, you'll get an email, okay? And you will then get a link. So if we send something back to you, you will again, based on that email address, get an email back saying, here's a link. We've asked you just to look at a specific section. And when you click in there, it'll give you the information that's available that we're asking you back. So all for your initial registration, you're going to look out for are the red asterisks and anything that you feel you've got available that you feel that you can readily assist us with that information. And if something looks odd and doesn't have a red asterisk, you can simply scroll past it. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can give more than one person access to the platform on your side. And when you do that, you will do it under the address section, which was the second section down on the previous page. There's two lots. So the first part is physical addresses. And if you perhaps an organization as you grow, you might have an office here in Johannesburg or Gauteng. You might have open an office in the Cape as you grow your business, and you can just add the physical addresses here. You're not limited, but then there's another section which says showing contact details under that address section for all locations. That is where you can add as many people in your world you would like to give access to this portal to. So perhaps you start off with yourself, you complete the registration, and you decide just as a backup, you have another individual in the business with you. You'd like to give them that access as well. You're welcome to come to this section here. You click on Add New on the right-hand side, and you complete their email address, some basic contact details for themselves. And at the bottom, I need to make you aware, you need to say Supplier Portal Access Yes for those additional people. And it will open up a screen at the bottom. And here I've given you what each section means. So you can also decide, I'd like for this particular person to have access to see when I've got tenders, but for whatever reason you decide in your world, I don't want them to see my actual contract for now. You can just tick the sections you wish to give access to that additional person to, or you can give them access to everything. That is up to you. And you can change that. You can add people, you can delete people. It's pretty user-friendly. And you'll see on the platform that you've got all those. So everything in your world, who you want to give access to and what access lies with you. Okay. The next section coming down, that's very important we need to make you aware of, is the procurement category. Okay. There's some options when we get to the second last slide. There's some opportunities we have available at the moment. We keep this database not just for suppliers that we intend to move forward business with. We would like people to register on our database who perhaps maybe we're not going to take you live because we've got a provider for that particular commodity now. But in the future, we may want to use you to engage with you or to include you in a potential sourcing event. So as we go out on new contracts, the procurement category allows, hello?
With next sequence.
Hi, sorry? Do you
Sorry, I
have a
think
question?
someone was accidentally
Okay.
unmuted. So,
Oh, no, that's fine. No, sorry, I couldn't hear if it was a question. Okay, so the procurement category is important for us because it enables Netcare to identify yourselves as a potential provider for your services. So we've just put some tips here to assist you. Hi, sorry, may I ask if you can mute? Thank you. Right, so just some tips to assist you. And when you're going along, you will see something that looks like a link here. You can copy and paste that into your browser, and it takes you through to a secure Netcare space. It's in SharePoint. Okay, the first time you log in, you will need the username and password. It's generic. It's just Zycus in lowercase, and the password is ZY82023. That will then give you access this particular example is terms and conditions. So you're asked just to read the terms and conditions and indicate whether you can accept them, yes or no. So the question answering yes or no is compulsory, but you've got access to be able to read them using the links, and that is available to you there. Again, if you struggle with those links, perhaps you've got some security on your site doesn't just allow you in, please email procurement at Netcare. They'll say to you, okay, what are the sections, and they can email you those templates as well. Okay. Again, just a reminder, where a section does not look applicable to your company and it doesn't have a red asterisk, you can leave it incomplete and scroll past. Just something very important. You can save as draft at any point. So at the bottom of your screen when you go along, there's two buttons. One is save as draft and the other is submit. You can save as draft at any point and come back, log in, and it will take you to where you left off. But if you save as draft, okay, the information is not accessible to Netcare. So when you come to the end and you save as draft, okay, we still can't see it. We can see you've started an application, but we cannot see your details in that application. So it is incredibly important that when you get to the end and you're ready and you feel your application is complete, that you hit the submit button, okay? If you haven't completed a mandatory field, it will block you from submitting. But what it does is it takes you to that field and it gives you a full explanation at the top in red to tell you you haven't completed this section. This is what you need to do. Okay, so it will only do that on the mandatory fields, and you can only submit if all the mandatory sections and fields are completed. Very important again, sorry, just to remind you, because we see this a lot, people saving a draft and thinking it's complete. You've got to do the submit, please. Okay,
Caroline,
we've just put, yeah, go ahead.
I'm so sorry to disturb you, but we have one raised hand. I want to know if you're willing to take the question now
Sure.
or.
Yeah, no, happy. Let's go along while we're on that section.
Okay, perfect. Kulani, do you mind unmuting yourself and then you can quickly pose your question?
Thank you, everybody. I'm proud. Actually, I'm so happy that I'm attending this session. My mother actually worked for you guys for so many years. She passed on. She was in market Netcare, but she passed on, and yeah, she passed on in Mhlanga Netcare though. Yeah, but anyway, that's it, history. Just yesterday, I was in Center Casting, visiting one of my I would say my secretary. She works for us. She's in ICU, and I was looking at Center Casting. I was like saying, you know what? It's been always my in me that one day I would like to serve Netcare, and I'm specializing in security. So I wanted to find out, maybe we still you've actually Caroline touched a bit in terms of getting into the procurement process. So obviously, I wanted to know in terms of getting the forms, are we going to get the forms or is online registration via that email address that you
Yes, it's all done, yeah. Kolani, so it's all done electronically now, yeah.
Okay, not super. Then I'm happy with that, and then it's fine. And then you email us. I did send my email address. You email us the recording of this
Yes,
session.
Paulina's
yes.
recording, yeah. And I'm happy to share the presentation, Paulina, as well, with all the links on. But again, guys, if you get something or you don't get it, procurement@netcare.co.za, write it down. You can email, reach out. They'll send you the links. We will assist you from that side as well. Okay, but I'm happy to share everything. Yeah. So Kalani, we changed to electronic where we're digitizing. It's a key strategic pillar for Netcare's digitization, not just in procurement, and we digitized in April. So it's a new platform for us as well. Sometimes we have to reach out to our support services and say, we haven't seen this before, can you help us? So we've got our learners in Zycus, and we're growing with the platform with our suppliers along the journey. And we'd certainly love to see your application. Okay.
No, definitely, for sure. It's a way to go digital. Digital pay. We have to be paperless, guys. Digital is the way to go. Not definitely for sure. I'm happy to do that. I'll do the registration once it's done.
Okay, and hopefully we can continue with a journey with your family going forward.
No, you can continue.
Thank you.
Can continue. Thank you.
Right. So just some documents you maybe want to just have ready for yourselves. You'll see. Hi. Good afternoon. Good morning. Sorry.
We've just we've muted at the moment. I just want you to finish your presentation first before we get to more questions, if you don't mind.
Thanks, Paulina. So we just some things just to have ready: your CIPC registration certificate, your valid BEE affidavit certificate. We sometimes see quite a lot of certificates where they haven't marked on the template whether you are a director, manager, or owner. Please, will you mark it? A director or owner. Please mark it correctly there at the top. We sometimes if it's not correct. So please look out for that. The other thing they look out for is the stamp of the notary. Normally it's done at the police station. Your date on that stamp must match the date which you signed the certificate, because you're supposed to sign it in front of your notary. So please just make sure for those two things it's correct. If applicable, if you've got a VAT registration certificate, if you can please have that ready as well. Then there's a tax clearance, and there's a two-step process to this. So you won't see the tax clearance ask and things like bank documents in the first phase. If we decide to operationalize yourselves and take you through as a SAP vendor, that kind of very sensitive information will come through in step 2. Okay, so your initial registration won't have that. We've got a link on the platform to guide you how to download that tax clearance, because it's actually a screenshot you take, and we've got a nice little document that shows you how. Don't panic, you don't need that in step 1. It's something that'll come through in step 2. Okay. You will also be requested to sign and notarize what's called a supply declaration. This is standard for all our suppliers. We ask our suppliers to declare if they have any interest in Netcare or any sort of current close family member working in Netcare, etc. It's a list of questions that you answer yes or no. And if you've answered, depending, it'll tell you based if you've answered question 1, yes, you have a direct interest in Netcare. It'll just ask you for a bit of more information. And we ask every supplier to do this. It doesn't exclude you from doing business with Netcare. You're just declaring what your interest is so that there's transparency from both sides as well. Okay. So what you will see, how you will see once you are registered in Zycus, whether you are taken live into our environment as a vendor or whether you remain in the potential status, you would still have the opportunity to participate in future sourcing events. Okay, so this just talks to on the Zycus platform what your dashboard would look like. So the process we are asking you to do now is to register a profile, and there you would see your information in your account tab. Future sourcing events for potential tenders, maybe it's just a request for information because we're not sure how we want to position ourselves, or maybe it's a request for quotation, comes through in the events tab. All the individuals where you have registered on the platform with the email address and you've given access to the events section, every time we launch something and we include you in that, that email will get a notification there's something you need to have a look at. So you don't need to come in here and log in every day. Once your profile's been registered, if you are invited to participate in sourcing events, again, that's why that category section and that subcategory section is so important. Okay, it allows us to identify you as potential providers. We'll look at your evaluation. Do you meet the minimum criteria of what we're looking for here? Yes, you do. So we'd extend an invite to you. That invite goes to your email and you can see it in your events tab here as well. Okay, so the contract section, if we go forward and we enter into contract with yourselves, your contract, you would sign your contract, we upload it electronically into this platform for you, and you then have got access to your contracts here in a secure space. Okay, risk and performance, that is something which is what we spoke about. We sometimes do surveys with suppliers. We develop supplier scorecards along our journey. And we're new at this. As I said, we've got our learners in Zycus, so we're new at this. And sort of at the initial phase is if we identify you as somebody we would like to go forward, we would do a risk assessment with yourselves. We call it an accreditation process. With yourselves it's a part of the evaluation process. Okay. So our current opportunities we've got, this one is on a short timeline as well. So something we would like to get going. By the end of this month, we would like to launch a request for information early November for a staff canteen we have that's based in Sunninghill, Johannesburg. We're asking you when you register, if you're interested in that opportunity, to use this. You've got a category, a subcategory, and then you've got a free text field where you can add up to 2,000 characters. So it's pretty much an essay. Please register that opportunity under your service, your categories as indirect goods and services. It's a drop down. Select that one. Then there's another drop down saying catering services and vending machines. And then in the free text, please put in very specifically canteen management. Solar maintenance. We're looking to expand and diversify our supply base for suppliers who offer solar PV equipment, maintenance, and cleaning services. And we're looking for suppliers in all regions for that category: technical plant maintenance, solar PV equipment and services, and then just give us a bit of a story about the services you offer. PPE, again, we're looking to expand, so it's technical plant maintenance. The drop down is personal protective equipment, PPE, and what type of PPE you supply in your free text. Linen, indirect goods and services, linen and other textiles, and then again, please type details of the linen or service you offer. IT network and cabling. We're specifically looking to expand and diversify our database for suppliers who offer cabling, network equipment, cleaning of server cabinets, and extension of network access points. So again, in all regions, the category is information and communication technology, subcategory is cabling, and then please type as a bit of a story about what your details are of your services you offer. Litho printing, again, we're looking to expand, so it's in all regions. There, it's indirect goods and services, document label and printing, and then you can please just indicate in the last category, litho printing. So what do we look for as Netcare Procurement to partner with our suppliers? So for us, being in the healthcare space, we look for a partner to partner with suppliers who offer value, quality, reliability. Reliability is incredibly important for us. Sometimes we often have conversation with our suppliers, and I'm going to use a very simple example and say a lift. If we've got a lift at our trauma unit, and the lift goes from the helipad down, and you are somebody who does lift servicing and maintenance, and that lift gets stuck, it's not just an inconvenience and a stuck lift. We can no longer then land a helicopter on our roof to bring that trauma patient into our trauma center. That means that potentially someone's life is at risk. So when you're working with Netcare, reliability, please, is incredibly important. Again, at the best price, and while supporting our strategic pillars such as transformation. We consider our suppliers partners, and we would like our suppliers to understand that for Netcare, every life is sacred. For us, it's a privilege to treat every person, and we do so with the dignity they deserve and whenever they need us. We call this, and it's a core strategic goal for Netcare, we call it person-centered health and care. And our supply chain, as I've explained, the very simple example of the lift, plays a critical role in supporting this vision. Okay. So thank you. I've got at the back here as well, just that email address that I keep referring to, procurement@netcare.co.za. Any questions you have after this, or if you can't find the link or you need any assistance with your registration, please go to that email and then the team will assist you further from there.
Wow.
Now,
I just wanted to comment and say that it is so insightful to see how much effort Netcare is taking to continue the green footprint and the effort in the mental health space, and it's just so encouraging to see that your organization, as large as it is doing more. And I just wanted to say, it's very enlightening and exciting for us to see that point, that perspective from you. It's really encouraging. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. So we also understand that when we're commencing on this journey really as a country, sustainability as a country, okay? Globally, obviously Europe and that, they're a lot further ahead of us, but it's very important for Netcare. And we will understand as an SMME, you might not have gone far. There are things you might not have thought about on your journey. We work with our suppliers and we partner with our suppliers on that journey, okay? And we try and assist you. We might refer you, we've got waste suppliers. You've got a lot of initiatives and recycling for us. And there might be things you have opportunity you'd like to bring to the table for us. You might be further along in a particular space than us. It's a journey and it's a partnership when we do that.
That's amazing. It's encouraging to hear about businesses that are focused on that, and it's not just a tick box exercise. So thank you for sharing your presentation. We do have a couple of questions, and I wanted to find out from you what your time frame is like for a Q&A session. When do you have a hard stop on your side for when you need to move on to your other engagements for the day?
I'm just going to have a quick check because I think I do have 15 minutes available now. We had something that moved and I just want to make sure. Sorry, if you can give me one moment. I'm going to
No
just
problem.
quickly check that.
Well, while Caroline is checking, I just want to remind all of you, please, that we are recording the session. So after the session, before the end of today, actually, you will receive a YouTube link to the recording of the session, as well as the presentation with all the links that Caroline presented. So please don't worry about it. We don't need your email addresses in the chat. We do get all your data from that registration process that you did when you signed into Zoom. So please don't worry about that. Rest assured, even if there are parties that didn't attend, everybody we invited will receive the recording and the presentation. Just wanted to rest assured.
Thank you, Pauline. I appreciate that. I can stay on for another 15 minutes. I'm not sure if my full team can because there's a couple of other ladies and gents have joined me, but unfortunately they might have to drop off. But I'm very happy to stay on and take any questions.
Thank you. And thank you to your extended team for joining us today. It's very, it's helped us with a lot of insight. So thank you for the time that they have taken to joining us today. So there's a few questions that were asked pretty early on in the chat, and I just want to get to them before it gets lost. So there's one person, Jermaine. He said he started the registration process in October, and I've seen a few comments also asking, how long is the turnaround time for when you start the application to become a vendor to receiving communication or confirmation?
Okay, it depends on how busy we are. So we've just gone through our financial year end as well. So we have been focused on our financial year end, and there is a time lag at the moment. We do try and get everything done and dusted to give you an answer within 2 weeks. Our focus right now, depending on how busy we get, is obviously looking at our sourcing events, potential providers for our sourcing events. So that canteen one, as they come up, you might find you're going a little quicker on the canteen side than somebody else who's potentially going on the linen side. And that's just because of the volumes we do get through as well. May I ask you if you could wait once you've done an application, if you've heard, you should get a response back on the platform. If you don't get a response back on the platform, email within a week. Email please after a week to the procurement at Neke saying, I did my application. Maybe if you could just do a screenshot of your company name, we can see it. And like I kept on trying to highlight, please remember to submit and not save this draft. So often we're also seeing companies that are applying save as draft and we can't see it. So it's very, very important that you submit. If you can give us a week, then email that procurement at Neke email address if you haven't had a response. A little bit of a screenshot showing your company name helps us out just to locate you, or what's called the GSID number. So like I said, we do have a backlog. We've got 2 backlogs because we've gone live with Zycas and all our current databases coming on. But whether you are going to be taken live or not, your profile will remain in our platform. You should get a response either way. Please don't become disheartened if we say we will keep you at this stage as potential provider. We might not be taking you live. It does not mean you're not meeting our criteria. It just means at this stage, we might not have an opportunity for you, but keeping your profile there means that when we've got an opportunity, we see you. Okay. And it just gives us that you might get something 6 months from now. So please, please register, whether you're on the opportunity list as an organization that we've presented today or not, please register, because going forward, we might reach out to you and say, can you just confirm these details are correct? We've got an RFP we're going out on. Would you like to participate? It makes you visible to us in a very secure space.
That's good. And that's something that we also try to communicate is, even if there isn't an immediate need at the moment, as long as you're on that database, there could be a potential opportunity when the need arises.
Like they say, you can't win the lottery if you don't have a ticket.
Exactly. Okay, then I just wanted to find out, there's one other question in the comments, and then I'll go to the raised hands. What is your payment timeline policy, and does it vary depending on BEE levels of the company?
So if you enter into our ESD program, we do enter into early payment terms. That would depend on your contract. Our standard payment terms are, we have 2.5% settlement discount for 30 days and net for 60 days. Again, we always make that decision based on you as an individual supplier. So if you offer us, you're an EME coming in, you're a level 1 BE, and you reach out to us and say, I would like to look at early payment terms, or I would like to say, can we do a net 30 days? We would obviously look at the circumstances for each individual supplier, but those what I've given you now are our standard payment terms and conditions. Okay.
Thank
We
you.
do support our suppliers as far as possible.
No, 100%. I fully understand. Okay, so I'm going to go to the raised hands, but I would like to just request that you keep your questions short and sweet, because we do want to respect Caroline's time and her team's time. So Joel Marrow, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself and quickly asking your question? Joel, sorry, we can't hear you. I'm not sure if you, oh, there we go. So you've unmuted now. I'm sorry, Joel, you are very faint in the background. We cannot hear you. I'm sorry, Joel, the connection is really bad. We can't hear you. Joel, do you mind if we ask someone else to quickly ask a question and we come back to you when you're done? All right. I'm sorry,
Joel,
Joel.
maybe you can just type your question in the chat, because there seems to be something there with the connectivity and your sound. Sorry.
Okay, let's move on to the next person. I'm going to try and mute Joel now. Jacintha Naidu, do
Hi,
you mind?
Paulina. Thanks, guys, for a great session. I think my question could have been answered, but so my services are not on one, the listed ones. Can I, however, still register?
Yes, please. Absolutely. As I've explained, we would probably keep you at this stage as potential provider, but as opportunities come up and the business needs change, or they require something new, we would certainly look at you.
Thank you,
Please.
Caroline. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacintha. Melanie, do you mind unmuting yourself quickly and asking your question?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the lovely presentation. Is it a
Oh, Melanie, we lost you there. It looks like you muted yourself. Do you mind quickly unmuting and asking again?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Is it a necessity to be VAT registered, and does this work against you
No.
if you want to get contracts?
No, obviously you've got to be SARS compliant. So if you
Yes.
should be VAT registered according to SARS, then it
Yes.
would count against you if you are not. But if your turnover is less and does not require the VAT registration, you can just indicate for us, I'm not VAT registered, I'm not needed to register for VAT as yet.
And then obviously as you build up and get more work, you can
Yes, if your business grows and you are. So the tax compliance is very important for us. So
Yes.
obviously you need to follow the regulations according to SARS. So if you are required, then we identified in our spend, we would reach out to you and say to you, we can see our spend takes you past that threshold. You would need to register, and please could you start that? And then you normally keep us updated as we go along.
Yes, because I'm manufacturing work apparel, especially in the medical field. I'm here in PE, and I've been trying to get on for the longest time, and I'm glad that I found you and now
Thank
know
you,
the
Mary.
process.
Well, we're
All
glad
right.
to you reached out. So please go ahead and register. Yes. Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. Milan Dayal, do you mind quickly unmuting and asking your question?
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for such an informative session. I want to find out, from an IT perspective, which vendors does Netcare prefer to use, from like a hardware, from hardware, from networking, which vendors?
We're always looking for opportunities there, Milan, especially as we've got some opportunities. We want to expand our database. So we
And
do have contracts in place. I can't share our supply base with yourselves,
no,
unfortunately.
I'm talking when I speak of vendors, I'm talking about the hardware brands. So like Dell, HP, Lenovo,
Okay. So we're
Apple,
mostly with
Cisco
HP. Yeah,
with
we're
HP.
mostly with Most.
HP. So it's HP and HP Enterprise.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Milan. And Gregory, as our last question, do you mind quickly unmuting and asking your question?
Hi, good morning, guys. Firstly, thank you very much for this informative session. I got on a bit late. Basically, we operate in the ICT and cabling space. So I want to know the opportunity in network support as well, besides, implementation or new cabling installations. Would there be opportunity for basically support on your infrastructure?
So we do have internal teams, but yes, we do have opportunity, Gregory. Obviously, it's something we would evaluate your organization first. And as the business opportunity came up, you would be engaged then through the Zycus platform to participate, perhaps a request for quotation, and they would engage you further from there. We've always got opportunities. Okay.
Much
We're a large
appreciated.
organization, and that cabling that goes across our organization. So we obviously don't like to, if we are in contract, we work as partners with our suppliers, but we are looking for SMMEs to partner with. So maybe we would give you an opportunity in an initial space and then have a look at the rest.
Thank you so much. I'm feeling positive.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Caroline, I believe we've reached the 15-minute mark, so I do not want to take
Thank
advantage
you.
of your time. I really, really do appreciate it. And I believe that I am not the only one that says it, but this was truly an encouraging and informative session. So thank you for taking the time, for putting that beautiful presentation together for us, and for taking the time to be so detailed about all that information. And for anybody that arrived later in the session that missed out on some data or some points, please make sure that you watch the recording, because Caroline really covered everything in great detail. There are very limited questions that would come from that. However, Vian, I see your hand is raised. Please post your questions in the chat box. What I will be doing, Caroline, is I will send a follow-up email with you with any questions that weren't answered in the presentation that you and your team can take the time to accurately answer. But Caroline, I want to greet you and say thank you. Let you go to your next engagement.
Opportunity.
Really appreciate you guys and the time that you have taken, and we hope to work further.
Thank you for everybody for joining today and for your time. Time is very important to all of us. So thank you and thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Caroline, and your team. Bye-bye. All right, everybody, I just wanted to share a couple of reminders, and I just wanted to firstly apologize that we couldn't get through to all the questions. The session was so intense and encouraging that, I believe that presentation answered so many questions that we generally have when we have a supplier matchup. And I encourage those that just to please watch the recording and go through the presentation. We will be sharing it with all of you before the end of today. Please don't forget our masterclass taking place tomorrow morning at 8:30 with Raksha Mahabir. Very exciting. She's a wonderful and energetic presenter. And please also don't forget to apply to be part of our February event next year in person at the River Sands iHub in Midrand. It's an in-person supply matchup where you'll have the chance to engage with people face-to-face, buyers, procurement professionals, and each other. It is a nice way for us to end off our 2024 program and our events, and a nice way to kick off 2025 with a bang. So on that note, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us today. Thank you for being advocates for your business and for trying to look for new opportunities to grow your business. It is truly encouraging, and it is truly what makes it worth the while for us for arranging all of this for you. So just overall, thank you from the Smart Procurement team. We truly hope that you have an amazing day and an amazing week, and we look forward to seeing you in November for our last supplier matchup online for 2024. Have a wonderful year, and we will keep the session open for 5 more minutes for any remaining questions before we close. But thank you, everybody, and bye-bye.